picture this, right? Because I feel like a lot of us have been uncomfortably close to this exact scenario.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So it is 2 o'clock in the morning. You are driving your EV on a pitch-black, deeply isolated stretch of I-80 out in the Sacramento Valley.
Sounds terrifying already.
Right. And you've had an incredibly long day. The heater is blasting because it's a freezing cold night, and you are just trying to get home. But suddenly, that little battery icon on your dashboard just flashes red.
The dreaded red flash.
Exactly. And then, inevitably, it hits 0%. The car begins to dramatically lose speed, the throttle just totally stops responding, and you are forced to drift over onto the dark gravel shoulder.
It is an incredibly vulnerable feeling. And when you are sitting there in the dark, the car goes completely silent and the reality of the situation sets in.
Yeah, your brain instantly defaults to the exact reflex we have all been heavily conditioned to have for, well, the last 100 years of driving.
You pull out your phone.
Right, you pull out your phone, you Google local towing companies, and you ask them to send out a flatbed tow truck to get you out of there.
It's just human nature. Car stops moving, you call a tow truck.
Exactly. But the entire mission of our deep dive today is to unpack why that exact instinct, calling a standard tow truck for your dead EV, could actually end up being the single most expensive, catastrophic mistake you will ever make.
And it has a name now.
Yeah, it's known as the towing trap.
What's fascinating here is that as EV adoption skyrockets, the infrastructure and traditional rescue methods just haven't quite caught up yet.
Not at all.
And that lag is creating a really dangerous gap for everyday drivers. We're talking about a situation where automotive technology has rapidly evolved, but the legacy roadside rescue industry is still largely operating on an analog internal combustion mindset.
To figure out exactly how dangerous this trap is and, how to avoid it, we are digging into a really revealing stack of documents today.
We've got a lot of good stuff to go through.
We really do. We have emergency rescue protocols, we're analyzing local Sacramento roadside assistance advisories, and we even have access to these highly cinematic marketing campaign blueprints from the erescue.com master visual content engine.
That visual engine really paints a picture of what's happening on the ground.
It really does. But, before we get into the physical destruction a tow truck can cause, we need to understand the anatomy of the breakdown itself.
Right. Like, why are you stranded on the side of I-80 in the first place?
Exactly. Because, let's be entirely honest, your car's digital dashboard map absolutely promised you, like an hour ago, that you had plenty of range to make it to your driveway.
Yeah, well, the map lies. Or, I guess more accurately, the map makes highly optimistic calculations based on ideal laboratory-like conditions.
And the physical world is rarely ideal.
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with range anxiety realities in the Sacramento Valley or heading up toward the Sierras.
Oh, absolutely. The physics of elevation change is a huge culprit here. We all know EVs are incredibly efficient on flat ground, right?
They just glide.
But climbing steady grades changes the math completely.
Right.
You aren't just propelling the car forward anymore. You are requiring a continuous, massive, high-voltage output to fight gravity.
I like to think of it like this.
Yeah.
It's the difference between walking on a flat sidewalk versus sprinting up a flight of stairs while wearing a really heavy backpack.
That's a perfect analogy.
Yeah, your energy just depletes at a completely different rate.
Exactly. And the vehicle's thermal management system has to kick into overdrive to cool the battery pack down during that sprint, which just draws even more power. Suddenly, the 30 miles of range the algorithm promised you just evaporates after 10 miles of uphill driving.
So you see the battery plummeting and you do the responsible thing. You find a public charging station 2 miles away on your map, and you manage to link the car off the highway and into the parking lot.
You think you're saved.
You throw in park, totally relieved. But according to the Sacramento advisories we were looking at, you are likely walking right into destination failure.
This is such a huge friction point in the EV community right now. It's the no charger reality.
Which is just infuriating.
It really is. It's not just about running out of juice. Drivers often hit a dead end because the promised public charger is physically broken.
Or there are massive lines.
Right. Or it's located in a completely dark, isolated area where you don't feel safe. Or it's suffering from ice-seeing, where traditional gas-powered cars are just illegally parked, blocking the charging spots.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the map lied to you, the charger's broken or blocked, and now you're stuck.
You're completely stranded.
So what do? In the intro, I mentioned the instinct to call a flatbed tow truck and why the traditional solution is actually a massive threat.
It is a huge threat. First, there's the financial burden. traditional towing is an absolute price scam right now.
How so?
Well, drivers pay hundreds of dollars just to have their vehicle essentially held hostage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because they get dragged to a dealership in the middle of the night, or they might have to wait for days just for a simple charge.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. It's not just the money. Improperly towing an EV, like a Tesla or a Rivian, can cause catastrophic damage.
Absolutely catastrophic.
Standard tow trucks can literally fry the EV's drivetrain, leading to thousands of dollars in avoidable repairs.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it all comes down to the mechanics of how EV motors and wheels are connected.
Walk us through that, because, if the tow operator is lifting my car onto the back of their truck, how is that destroying the drivetrain?
Right, it's a brilliant question. To understand the danger, we have to look at what happens when an EV battery hits absolute zero.
Okay.
When that main high voltage pack dies, the smaller 12-volt battery also dies. That's the one that runs the computers. And critically, the electronic parking brake.
So the brain of the car dies too.
Completely. And as a failsafe, the transmission is locked in park. The car effectively becomes a 5,000-pound immovable brick.
Wait, really? You can't just put it in neutral and roll it up the ramp?
You cannot. With a completely bricked EV, you do not have that option. So the tow truck driver has to forcefully drag your locked vehicle up a steep metal incline using a winch.
So they are forcing the wheels to turn against the parking brake.
Yes. And because EVs lack a traditional neutral gear that disconnects the wheels from the motors, standard towing doesn't just pull the car, it forces the internal components to work against themselves.
Oh, I see.
The forced rotation of the wheels backdrives the electric motors. The motors act like generators, taking that mechanical energy and converting it into electrical current.
Wait, isn't that just the regenerative braking system?
Normally, yes.
Huh.
But the car is dead. The computers that safely manage that current are offline, so you are forcing these motors to pump massive amounts of unregulated current back into dormant, highly sensitive electrical inverters.
That sounds like a recipe for a massive short circuit.
It is. It generates intense heat and uncontrolled current. It can literally fry the drivetrain. The visual materials from the e-rescue documents highlight this perfectly.
Oh, right, the visual contrast.
Yeah, they show the stark contrast between a crude, rusted metal tow hook violently scraping against the undercarriage.
Right, pure brute force.
Exactly. Contrasted with a clean, precision neon green charging connector smoothly clicking into a port.
It's such a striking comparison. It really makes you realize, if standard towing is a fast track to a ruined drivetrain, how do you actually solve the stranded EV problem?
You have to change your mindset.
Right, you don't move the car. You bring the power to the car. And that brings us to the mobile rescue revolution.
It's completely changing the game.
We're seeing this play out right now with Sacramento Mobile EV Charging. You can find them at sacramentomobileevcharging.com. Their entire core philosophy is this initiative they call Stop the Tow.
Keep the wheels on the ground. It's that simple.
Exactly. And the cinematic, scroll-stopping emergency response scenarios from these marketing blueprints illustrate exactly how this works in real life.
The scenarios are so relatable, too.
They really are. Let's look at scenario 1, the highway rescue. So you are stuck on the I-80 shoulder, like we talked about earlier.
Right, in the dark.
Yeah. But instead of a massive, clunky flatbed tow truck arriving, a sleek, low-profile utility vehicle pulls up. They pull out a neon green charging cable and deliver a fast, completely damage-free power boost.
It's just an elegant solution to a really stressful problem.
And what about scenario 2? The SMF airport panic. I think this one is so common.
Oh, the Sacramento International Airport parking lots are notorious for being charging deserts.
Absolutely. You park your car, you fly out for a 10-day trip, and the car experiences phantom drain while you're gone. You come back, exhausted, dragging your luggage, and the battery is totally dead.
And you are in a multi-level parking garage.
Right. Think about trying to get a massive flatbed tow truck into a complicated, crowded parking garage with low concrete ceilings.
It physically cannot reach you. They would have to send a specialized truck with wheel dollies, manually jack up each tire, and slowly wheel you out. It would take hours.
But with mobile rescue, the unit is just a modified utility van. It drives right up to your spot, meets you where you are, and charges you up so you can just drive home.
You skip the dollies, you skip the flatbed, you just get power. And scenario 3 from the documents focuses on commercial uptime, which I think is fascinating from an economic standpoint.
Oh, for the gig economy drivers.
Precisely. If you are an Uber or Lyft driver or part of a local delivery fleet, A dead battery doesn't just mean you are inconvenienced. It means lost wages. It means missed deadlines.
If your wheels aren't turning, you are actively losing money.
And they can't afford to wait hours for a tow truck to haul them to a dealership. It destroys their profit margin for the whole week.
Right.
So instead, the mobile unit arrives. The driver takes a mandated app break, eats a quick snack, and the mobile unit rapidly charges the vehicle right there.
It keeps their business moving. They are back online in 20 minutes.
It's an absolute lifeline.
So what does this all mean? I think for the listener, it means the entire paradigm of roadside assistance has to change.
It really does.
We have to move away from the concept of hauling and shift entirely to the concept of powering.
That is the main takeaway here. If you own an electric vehicle, you have to overwrite that century-old instinct. Never let a tow truck driver touch your EV if you just need a charge.
It's just not worth the risk.
Protect your drivetrain, save your wallet, and honestly, just remember the mobile lifeline. Call 916-XXXXXX and let the power come to you.
It's such a simple but powerful shift in thinking.
It is. But, this raises an important question for the broader industry.
Oh, I know where you're going with this, the tow truck companies.
Yeah. If mobile energy delivery becomes the new standard for EVs, if bringing the gas station directly to the stranded driver is the future, what happens to the traditional tow truck industry?
That is a massive question. Will they become entirely obsolete within the next decade?
Or will they be forced to adapt? I mean, will we see these massive towing fleets ripping off their flatbeds and transforming themselves into mobile power grids?
It is going to be absolutely wild to watch that play out over the next few years. The massive diesel hauler might just be a dinosaur waiting to be replaced. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. Remember, if you had 0% out there, keep the wheels on the pavement, stay curious, and stay powered up.